Is credit card debt ruining your life? Because for most people here in the United States, credit card debt is spiraling out of control. They don't know how to pay it off, but yet they continue to rack up more and more debt or open up new cards. This is becoming an issue. Today I want to explain how credit card debt is ruining people's lives. I've seen this firsthand, where people are just struggling, can't get by. It's ruining their relationships. They can't get along with their kids. Their marriage is falling apart. They can't focus on their job. There's so many issues. If you have any type of credit card debt, this is a video you need to watch. Look at this right here. It says the average credit card debt is up by more than a quarter. What this means for Americans' wallets and the economy. As more and more Americans are struggling with credit card debt, piling up this massive load on themselves, it's becoming unbearable. They can't afford it. They can't afford to do anything. They can't afford a vacation unless they put it on a credit card. The majority of Americans cannot afford a $1,000 emergency. More than 50% of Americans can't afford a $400 emergency without using a credit card. And right now that credit card companies are still reducing their risk by lowering your credit limit, it puts more and more people under pressure because they use these cards as an emergency fund, but potentially not anymore. Here's the issue though. More and more Americans continue to put things on credit cards like utility bills, food, just daily essentials. But for many, they don't even make that much money to use the credit card. Look at this right here.
I am currently in $133,000 in debt. $110,000 of that is strictly just on my camper, my truck, and my baby mama's car.
So a camper, a truck, and his baby's mama car. That's $110,000. Okay?
Then I have about $8,000 worth of credit card debt a month out of $20,000. So I don't feel too bad about that.
Not terrible.
Because I use my credit cards to pay for most of my bills.
That's not good. When you use your credit cards to pay for most of your bills, that's a problem.
And it also helps increase my credit score. I also work in the oil field, so I don't feel too bad, but I just have to make sure that I do continue to do a good job at my work, because if I don't, then I would lose a lot of money or wouldn't have the same amount of income, right? This past year, I was able to take home $110,000, which is...
So he took home $110,000, but yet he has $110,000 in 2 cars and a camper. Probably his truck, he uses it for work. He says he does work in an oil field. And his camper, he probably lives in it. Okay, makes sense. But again, you make $110,000 and yet you're $110,000 in debt from a truck, a car, and a camper. That's a problem. That puts stress on yourself, but it also puts stress on relationships. One of the leading causes of divorce is financial stress. Okay, credit card debt, income. Listen to this.
The number one reason people divorce has nothing to do with infidelity. Most marriages can survive infidelity. The reason they divorce between 5 and 7 years, and 50% of these marriages fail, is financial stress. And what happens is one of the pair does not have the same objectives financially as the other. Maybe they outspend, maybe they have huge credit card debts, they don't care. But if you're not in sync with each other about money, it ain't gonna work. The number one reason people...
If you don't have the same goals and you're not aligned with your partner, there's a very good chance you're going to go through some financial stresses. And if you don't have enough money or your partner doesn't make enough money, there's going to be issues. Could potentially lead to a divorce or a temporary separation. This is a concern. I want to play this one for you as well, okay? Because not only do we focus on finances, and again, I'm bringing this to your attention because for most people, credit card debt is what is absolutely ruining their life. They can't get out of it. They don't know how to get out of it. Yes, everyone knows you just pay it off. But if you don't have the money to make a full payment, if you don't have enough money to just pay off your debt, and now you have monthly payments on this, what do you do? Because for many people, they are paying their credit card. They're making the minimum payment, which for many is going to take them 10 to 15 years to pay off. And so how do you continue to make a minimum payment and still live your life? Still go on vacations? How do you do it? That's part of the problem. Listen to this, though.
Why are we in credit card debt?
When I took this job, we had just taken a vacation to California for like a month long.
What, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
A month-long vacation? That's a long
2022,
vacation.
Yeah, we spent like $20,000.
On a vacation?
Yeah, I know.
$20,000 on a month-long vacation to California before she took on a new job. This happens quite a bit. Think about all the big life events that happen. You graduate from high school or college. Want to take a vacation. I'm going to put it on a credit card. We're buying a house. So what do? They put all their furniture purchases on a credit card. Now they're into deeper debt. Well, they're about to go back to school. The kids are going back to school, so we're going to go to Disneyland and we're going to spend, $5,000, $6,000 on a 2 or 3 day trip to Disneyland for a family of 4 or 5. Yeah, it happens. That's what people do. Oh, it's almost Christmas time. Let's take what we are going to get little Johnny and baby Steffi and let's make sure they have an incredible Christmas. Let's put it on our credit cards. That's what we see. And then they spend January and February trying to find ways to make a little bit extra money, hope that their tax return comes in and they get thousands of dollars back because they don't know how they're going to pay this off. That's part of the issue. Listen to this.
I'm in $135,092.74 in debt.
Crazy thing is, the majority of people that are racking up all these debts, they're not in their 50s and 60s. No, they're in their 20s and 30s. These are the ones that are racking up so much debt. Because right now here in the United States, you have to have the newest cell phone. You have to have the newest pair of Jordans. You need to keep up with the Joneses and buy a new car every other year. It's not necessarily what you need to do. But when you buy new clothes, it becomes expensive. When you go on vacation, because everyone else is, it becomes expensive. When you buy a new vehicle and you want to have all these accessories and you got to pay for your insurance, how do you do that? Potentially with a credit card. More and more people are doing it. Listen to this though. One of the things that, and I offer this, okay, and I'll be very clear on this. I offer a bunch of different courses and stuff on how to make money and do different things online. I've been doing this for 10 years. And one of the things I always tell people, you don't need a course to teach you how to save money. You don't need to spend money on a course on how to save money. You could just learn it online. ChatGPT is there as well. And the interesting thing about this is people continue to buy courses thinking this is the quickest way to get them to make money online, become TikTok famous, right? Or you'll learn to trade in the stock market. But the crazy thing is most people spend money, put it on a credit card, don't realize that they just lost money, and yet they never take the course. Listen to this though.
Worst purchases that I ever made that caused me to go into debt. Number one was online courses. The ones that had like some accountability factor to them really were successful. Otherwise, if there was one that was like, oh yeah, at your own pace, it was a giant waste of money. And most of those cost me thousands of dollars. Number two was clothes. Like I have an entire bed full of clothes that I need to fold. And I honestly don't need that much. Like, why did I buy all these clothes when I only need enough for like a week and then to wash them?
What's interesting about what she just said, and people bring this up all the time. Why do you wear the same shirts? Can't you afford new shirts? I can't. I love this blue one. I have a few of these Ben Sherman ones. Okay, absolutely love them. Love the feel of them. But I don't buy a lot of new clothes. There's even times where you may see me and I still have probably 5 to 10 of the same shirts today that I had probably in 2016, 2017. Love them. Absolutely love those shirts. And I take care of them. So for people that are putting new clothes on credit cards, absolutely insane. I understand it. Many people need new clothes every once in a while, but you don't need to completely revamp your wardrobe every season. But this is what's causing people to go into credit card debt. And why is it ruining their life? Simple. They spend all this money on things that they don't really need or can't actually benefit their own life. Like taking an online course, great. But if you don't actually take the course and don't gain any value from it, it does you absolutely no good, but yet you just went into thousands of dollars into debt. That's a problem. But the reason why it's ruining people's lives is because they are now stressed out. They have to work more to pay off this credit card. Their marriage is falling apart because they can't agree. The two partners cannot agree. How much should we spend? Could we afford this vacation? Can we afford the new car? Should we upgrade our home? That's becoming just a huge problem. So I'm bringing this to your attention for one main reason. Try to minimize the financial stress in your life. And by doing so, you're likely going to stop using credit cards. So I'll leave you with that, let you think about that for a little bit. But again, as of today, credit card debt is a huge, huge stress for millions of Americans.